about that? Too fragmented? And maybe a little bit abrupt between each clip, right? So let's change a little bit. So this kind of animation that joins two clips together is called transition. Applying transitions properly can make your video smooth and attractive to your audience. So now, let's use a real example to show you how to choose and utilize transitions. Let's check it out. There are 178 transition templates in Filmora 9, pretty sufficient for non-professionals to make all kinds of videos. My first suggestion for you would be to preview all of them and save those transitions you are most likely to use to favorite. And it's pretty easy to do that. Just right-click on one transition and select Add to Favorites. And when you need it, just head to the left column. And in Favorite, you will find your saved templates there. Now, I'll show you my mindset behind choosing and using the transition template. So, I'm making a video I filmed on a coffee expo. After our basic editing like splitting, cropping, and trimming, we've got all the clips on the timeline. And let's start with these two clips, a black screen and bird's eye view of the expo. Because this is the opening, I need an effect that makes the audience feel like opening their eyes. So I would choose this flash transition. Now, it's much smoother. One thing we notice here is that when the title disappears, it doesn't look natural. So we can add a fade out effect on the title too. That's something you can't do in previous versions of Filmora. Okay, this fade to gray effect will do, because it makes the text gradually disappear. But here comes another issue. The title here stays for too short and disappears. So we need to adjust that speed a little bit. Let's double click on the transition. And we've come to this control panel. Filmora offers us three options. Overlap means transition animation takes place between two clips. Prefix means transition only takes place at the end of the previous clip. Postfix obviously means transition happens at the beginning of the post clip. One thing to notice is that transition consumes part of the video. So what happened there was the transition consumes too much of that text clip. Therefore, we shorten the duration from 2 seconds to 1 second. Now, the text stays long enough for the audience to read. Next, let's take a look at these two clips. From bird's eye view of the convention to a relatively close-up view of the crowd. If you need a transition from a big picture overview to a detailed part like this, I would recommend this template called Zoom Out. I know, it sounds weird because when we take photos using our camera, we zoom out to get a bigger picture from the detailed one. But check it out. Looks appropriate, right? So this transition effect creates a feeling like we are actually zooming in. And let's move on to the next transition. So this clip ends with someone walking from right to left, and the other clip begins with someone walking in the opposite direction. When you have this kind of clips featuring a guy moving, remember the audience visual focus is most likely on a moving object and moving direction. So let's choose a transition that's consistent with that direction. And let's set the duration to 1 second as well. Now, the transition along with the moving object looks very natural. Let's keep moving to the next one. So the first clip here features a couple walking, and the second clip is a crowd in front of a booth. I would still recommend following the walking direction. because the couple are walking forward like two parallel lines in the frame. So this transition with lots of parallel lines is relevant and appropriate. Looks like we are following this couple to a booth. Next, how do we transit from the crowd to a close-up of the items that the booth is selling? Remember what I mentioned before, from big picture to a close-up, we can use the zoom out template. And let's do it again here. Now, the transitions of the zooming effect. I'd also like to talk about the transition duration here. Of course, sometimes you can do it instinctively, but in most cases, the best practice is to set it according to a rhythm of your background music. If your background music is a tender or sentimental song, then the transitions can be slowly taken place. Next one, so both clips show delicate merchandise on the booth, but both clips are very short and fragmented. In this case, I will use a 3D style template like this one. So it makes the audience think the items worth noticing, and the horizontal direction conveys a message that both of them are equally important. Now, let's move to another place that needs transition. The first clip here is a panning on coffee merchandise, while the second one is someone making coffee. As mentioned before, the optimum transition is inconsistent with the key object moving direction or the camera moving direction. Because our camera was panning from right to left in the previous clip, I will choose this ripple transition, animated with the same direction. Another reason to use this effect is the motion is so prominent that it separates the video into two. In other words, it serves as a chapter here, conveying a message that the video after this transition is going to be a lot different. Before it, we use general transitions jointing video together about what happened on the expo. But after this transition, we are about to tell a story of how this guy makes coffee. Alright, so let's talk about making coffee story. If we film the entire process of this guy making the coffee, we'll end up with a very long video clip. The audience may feel bored. So what we can do here is to pick up the splendid moments and join them together. But as a result, there will be discrepancy between clips. So the recommended transition here is called page out. It creates a feeling like reading an electronic book, and every clip is connected and progressed. Moreover, there's another advantage. Look at the top left of the screen. You'll find that the coffee maker stays at the same position in all clips. So these clips applying same page out effects, turning from bottom right to top left, looks consistent. So this is my mindset behind choosing and using a transition. The most important conclusion here is when choosing a transition, don't just focus on how fancy the effect is. You need to integrate your video context, overall tone, and transition to create an optimal watching experience. It's like audio editing. It takes a lot of planning and practice to choose the right transition that takes your video to the next level. In the next class, I'm going to show you 5 ways to play with text effect. So I'll see you in the next class.